We were jabbering a little bit. Please welcome everybody, and let's call to order.
Brown.
Here.
Short. Emmons.
Here.
OJ.
Here.
Abel.
Here.
Murray. Here. Mayor Box.
Here.
I apologize, Mayor Box is a little under the weather, so you'll have to be tolerating me tonight. Tonight's invocation will be Mr. Pastor Tommy Davis. Mr. Davis, would you please come up and lead us in prayer?
Yeah, would you say hello to everyone? Hello. Awesome. Father, we're so grateful for this meeting tonight. Thank you for the agenda. Thank you for what will be discussed. Thank you, God, for our city council. Thank you for all of our city leaders and for the agenda and for the vision that they have for the city. And so, Father God, as the meeting go forth tonight, we just pray blessings upon it. And may everything that is said and discussed and agreed upon be pleasing before thee. And God, we thank you for how you're continuing to move Jenks forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
So do we have an animal spotlight tonight, Mr. Foster? Yay! Oh, I can't see. Oh my gosh.
My name's Caleb Foster. I'm the animal control officer for Jenks. This here is Lima. He is a husky pup that we found about 2 weeks ago. Someone dumped him off of Over B. Very, very sweet dog. He's very good with other dogs. He loves kids. Can't get enough of them. We had an adoption event last weekend, and that was probably the most fun he's had in a long time, is what it looked like. But he's one of 4 dogs we have at the shelter right now.
Oh.
And he's definitely the youngest, but he's got way more energy than the other ones do.
And how old is he?
They said about 3 or 4 months old.
And he's a Rottweiler Husky?
We don't know what he's mixed with, but he's majority husky. Whenever you put him in his kennel, you hear the husky. He's very loud, loves to bark, loves to play.
Oh, he's sweet. And what's the number they can contact anybody if they want to adopt?
So they can call up to dispatch. It's 918-299-6311. They can get a hold of me from Facebook on the Jenks Animal Welfare. Just ask about any of the animals we have right now. They can see all the animals we have there on that link. And that's how they can get in touch with us.
So the previous adoption situation, how many did we have adopted?
We had 1 adopted, so we're down to 4.
Well, 4 is better than 12.
4 is a lot better than what we used to
Yeah,
have. So,
yeah. That's
but
awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're open to citizens' comments. Are there any citizen comments about anything not on tonight's agenda? If so, please come forward and give your name and address, and please limit your comments to, let's say 3-5 minutes.
Yes. Yesterday I got, Rick Evans, 10708 South Forest Avenue. Yesterday I got some exciting news from Angie Dunst, our Chamber of Commerce CEO. On Sunday, November 9th, we'll be hosting a dinner for area veterans in honor of Veterans Day. This date change allows significant donors to fully participate. Several donors were unable to attend last year in the fall, as you know, due to prior commitments. So I'm asking 2 action items. First, please create a proclamation declaring November 9th as Jenks Veterans Appreciation Day. And second, consider a proposed use for the farmhouse owned by the city at 106th and Elm. This is a big ask. I'm asking you to consider leasing the farmhouse for $1 a year for 20 years to the VFW. The purpose of the lease is to provide the VFW a home in Jenks. Every city in Oklahoma bigger than Jenks has a VFW except Bixby. Okay? So, if you will consider offering this lease to the VFW in some form, I'll commit to pursuing grants and donations to make it perfect. I asked nearby homeowners how they would feel about having the VFW as a neighbor, and they were pleased. I also spoke to the Veterans Coordinator at Cree Oaks. I don't know what that is, it's an agency. And he believes the facility would be an excellent place to provide counseling services. Please give this consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens' comments? Okay. If none, let's see. I'll close the floor to comments and move on to business. Consideration and appropriation action relating to a request for approval of consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered by the city council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any councilor may, however, remove any item from the consent agenda by request. A motion to adopt the consent agenda is non-debatable. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
OJ.
Yes. Okay. We'll strike the second item. On item 3, collective bargaining agreement, the City of Jenks and the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 146 for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and 2025 to 2026, and authorize mayor to sign contract upon final approval of contract by city manager and city attorney. Mr. Shrout.
I think that staff has worked hard along with the FOP over the last really probably 9 months. The contract was up July 1st of this fiscal year, and I think that we have come to a good agreement for a 2-year plan. I think the average increase in pay in year 1 is about 9.5%, and then there's increases in pay for year 2 as well. I think that that we're happy, city staff is happy. I think that the FOP is pleased with this agreement, and it really gets our pay scale to a more competitive place, especially as other agencies have increased their pay over the last couple of years. And so, you know, as Chief Jackson has been looking to hire people, I think that we do want to be one of the most competitive cities in terms of compensation for our police officers. We have a great force, and we think that this agreement just continues that tradition of having a good police force. If you have any questions about the details, David would be more than happy to answer. And if you have any questions for the FOP, I believe they have a representative here as well.
Any comments by council?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Murray?
Having 30-some-odd years' experience with the FOP and not negotiating contracts, but at least being a part, working for the contract, I think this looks like a wonderful opportunity for our police department to recruit new officers or to recruit more officers. It takes having something like this to show that the city supports them. And I think by having a good pay scale, having good opportunity of sick time and uniform allowance and things like that makes a big difference. I know one concern had come up about the lodge business. The lodge is a member or a part of a state lodge, it's a local lodge, a state lodge, and a national lodge. And there's even an international lodge of FOP. They do business at each level. And for the city lodge to go to the state and do business through the state and the state to go to a national lodge, it takes a lot of time. And so increasing the number of hours, from what I understand, to 100 hours seems like an awful lot of hours. But when you have X number of officers are allowed to go, depending upon where the conference is, they may need those hours, just sometimes travel time in getting there. But it's also for the allocation of the trustees or the actual members who can attend, delegates. The departments are looked at on how many people are there, and so they get so many delegates per so many members. And so since we have increased our department, then that obviously means they need more hours to attend some of these things. So I think it's a great opportunity by increasing this that gives them that function that the city, again, is supporting them to do lodge business. Now, again, my 35 and a half years with Tulsa, we didn't always see eye to eye from a lodge to a city, but having Jenks supporting them and coming forward and saying, yeah, we do support you, we do want you to continue being here, I think it's a fantastic deal, and I'm very, very happy about it.
Thank you, Councilor Murray. Any other comments? You okay? Your lights on? Okay. And so, do I have a motion on item 3?
I make a motion that we accept it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. Okay, item 4, ordinance number 1663, an ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the City of Jenks Code of Ordinances, Business and Occupations by creating Article 18, Tobacco Product Retailers, repealing all ordinances or parts in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Macy.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about this ordinance and the one that is on for number 6, because they go together. The city is working with TSET, the Tobacco Endowment Settlement Trust, because they offer very healthy or very large grants for the city as long as they meet certain requirements related to healthy initiatives, is I believe what they call. So these two ordinances would essentially align us with state laws on a multiple levels regarding to tobacco and youth access to tobacco. The first one, 1663, largely sets about regarding retailer regulations. New tobacco and e-cigarettes retail stores have a distance requirement of 300 feet from any school, playground, or other facility that is primarily used for anyone under the age of 21, which is the now legal age for smoking. Any current or e-cigarette retailer that violates this provision that's currently established is perfectly fine. It's just there would be no chance for that license to renew if the business sold or failed to or ceased to operate. The 1664, which is number 6 on the agenda, relates to smoking in public places and indoor workplaces, prohibiting smoking on city-owned property in most indoor workplaces. This aligns us with state law and practices regarding smoking. Through the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline, city staff can receive services like patches, gum, and other coaching to help them quit smoking. Also requires business owners of most indoor workplaces to place no smoking signs on their premises. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so at the moment, we're just talking about item number 4. That's what we're
That's what we'll be
voting on.
voting on. I'm happy
Right.
to answer on either ordinance though.
Okay, I just want to make
Because,
that clear.
yes, they are both related. They're all with this TSET grant, so we can mainly get money for, I think right now the process is for some wayfinding and other trail incentive type
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, so any comments from council on this item? No? On this side? Okay. Do I have any motion for item 4?
Make a motion to approve item 4 is written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Let's vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. Okay. Item 5, emergency clause for ordinance number 1663, making it effective
So moved.
immediately.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. Okay. Item 6, sorry, there's some of this I have to read with glasses. Ordinance number 1664, an ordinance amending Chapter 13 of the City of Jenks Code of Ordinances, nuances by adding Section 13-1-39, smoking in public places and indoor workplaces, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and declaring an emergency. Anything to add, Mr. Macy?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Any comments on item 6 from council?
No, ma'am.
Ms.
I guess
Counselor
on,
Murray?
on page 135, under B, I appreciate the, doing away with the smoking and not wanting to be around it by any means, but when it talks about such buildings and property, including both indoors and outdoors, as well as city vehicles, parks, and recreational areas. Out in the open at a park, I'm not sure of prohibiting someone's right to smoke out in the open in a park.
And how do you enforce it?
Well, right. So that's the only thing that it kind of drew my attention, you know, yeah, I would love for people not to smoke, period. But again, you know, the number of people that do, the thousands that do, that's their life. But yeah, secondhand smoke kills people. But if you're in an open park in the open air, you're not necessarily around it. I hate to tie someone's hands on it. I'm just, my personal opinion, throwing that out. How do we look at that? But like you say, how do you enforce it? Yeah.
I will say, I believe that provision, and I am open to be wrong here, is actually part of state law. So it's already established in the Oklahoma Clean Air Act, I believe is what it's called. So I believe that's already part of state law. So this just brings us in compliance.
Yeah, and so, and TSET and the state have criteria related to getting the grants, and so we're just trying to do what we need to have in place in order to apply for the grants. And I think the thinking is, like, I feel basically the same way you do about that, but I think the thought is, you know, if you go to Veterans Park and you can't smoke, you can't smoke. If you can go to Veterans Park and you can smoke, well, can you smoke on the playground? Can you smoke on a bench next to the kid? How far away do you have to be from people to smoke? And I think that's why the state policy is you just can't do it at all. So go somewhere else to do it, so that we don't have these situations where someone doesn't want their kid or doesn't want to be around smoke. And I understand it being outside, but then there's different proximities, and I think that's where the kind of vagueness comes in. And I think staff saw this as an opportunity to, the upside is grants up to $120,000 versus, you know, not passing things like this. If we don't pass it, then we may not be eligible for the grant. And so that's why I think staff's reasoning to go ahead and ask council to approve.
No, I understand. I totally appreciate it. And again, you know, state laws there, the city can do things a little different, but I just want to make sure that people understand that we're not taking away rights, but we're enforcing something that's there that we're
Yeah.
just kind of catching up with. And so, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But I see what you're saying, and that's kind of how I felt, but I think it's like, you got to do it if you want to apply for the grant, and so.
Okay, any other comments? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Strout, for clarifying. Do I have any motion on item 6?
I'll make a motion to pass item 6 as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. Item 7, emergency clause for ordinance number 1664, making it effective immediately upon passage, since the immediate operations of the provision of the ordinance is necessary for the preservation of the public health and safety. Do I have a motion on item 7?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to other business. City Manager's report. Mr. Schropp, do you have a report?
Mayor and all members of council, you have a list of upcoming events here in February and March. And then we have, I think, in earnest started the work on Elm Street. And so obviously everyone's noticed some of the traffic issues, and we've received different messages from residents. I know that council members have received those too, and I thought that Mr. Carr could provide an update on kind of, as the traffic patterns change on Elm with the construction, and we receive requests from citizens to evaluate it. We are evaluating it specifically at 121st and Elm Street. And I asked Mr. Carr if he could kind of give us an update on what that looks like on our end when we receive these requests, because we really do take them seriously and try to see what we can do with the contractor to alleviate the concerns that we hear about.
Mr. Carr?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
I think from day one, the traffic flow on Elm has been a challenge. When a call comes in, we're using the construction observation team to take a first look at what's going on. And if necessary, we get a hold of the engineer who designed it and see if there's some changes that they think that might be able to be done. And a lot of the traffic situations that we were running into was the fact that you're taking a 3-lane and taking one of the lanes out of a service. And when you go through the intersection, like at 111th, the right turn lane was taken out of service initially, and really wasn't any need for that, so that was changed back pretty quickly. But at 121st, what happened was that the traffic going southbound was being shifted to the east into the center lane. And I don't believe it was really marked all that well, so that it would keep people from going head-on to each other.
was
Because the
not.
people coming from the north, going north,
Yeah.
were getting into the turn lane, and people going south were getting into that turn lane also, because that's how they were being directed. So I don't know if in total the situation has been corrected. I know that the calls have stopped coming in as much as they used to. So hopefully that means that maybe something has changed. But I think what most of it is related to the fact that people got used to it after they've been through it a few times. Then there was some issues about how fast the traffic was being able to go through the signal coming from the west. It got backed up quite a ways, and we talked to the signal contractor that we use all the time, and they made some adjustments to try and speed some of that up. So, I mean, we will react to any questions that people have, and sometimes it really can't be resolved, but most of the time something can be done in order to help the situation. But I think people just need to be patient during these times. I know the contractor has voiced to us that people we're going through there too fast, which endangers them. And so we put up some other speed limit signs, talked to the police about monitoring that a little bit more. I haven't heard anything from the contractor since, but I'm sure that there's going to be some issues because people don't really pay attention as well as they have to in a construction zone. But we are quick to respond to the questions and concerns. And if any of you have any still that need to be addressed, we'll be glad to try and take care of them.
Well, I will tell you, I mean, I live off 121st Street, so It's been challenging, but I will say that you have reacted very, very quickly. I didn't call in because I knew it was just the start of everything. Don't want to complain. That left turn lane was a booger because people got in the left lane, supposed to be turning, and they went straight instead, which caused this. But it has worked itself out a little bit. I think more the people, like you said, they go through that deal, and then it was the light that took forever.
Yeah.
But that's all been adjusted. So
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate it. I mean, you're trying to make it as smooth as possible. And anything that starts, you know, there's always stuff you have to work through and adjust. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
People don't like change.
I know.
And it takes a little while for them to get it in their mind on what they're gonna have to change. Now, there at 121st going north, the left turn was
You just
turned
can't.
off.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really in favor of that, but it was voiced to me that that's probably the best thing to do in the short term. It's gonna
Yeah.
last for a few months, but I think people hopefully have adjusted to that by now also.
Yeah, and they really have. And to be honest with you, I just keep thinking of the big picture as to how it's gonna look when it's all done.
Yeah.
Because I was there when it first started widening from from the highway to 111th, and it's like, if I can live through that, I can live through this, so I'm good.
Great.
But we really, it's growing pains, I think, more than anything
Yeah.
else.
Did you-
Councilor Murray, you have
Did
anything?
you say they adjusted the timing of the light?
Yeah.
Is it a time light or is it more of an algorithm?
It was not like you come up on the light and it adjusts. Even the one at 106 isn't always very, very conducive, but the one at 121st, it's gotten really, really long. And I noticed coming through the past couple of days, it's not been as long. So, because there was traffic, but I was like 20 cars back, which I never have 20 cars.
Yeah, they can adjust the timing on all of those, even
Yeah.
though it might have a camera picking up
Yeah.
to start it, but the time after it starts can be changed.
Can the
It's-
timing be variable throughout the day? Can we adjust the timing between 7 and 9 and 4 and 5:30, or is it?
I'm not that familiar with all the
Yeah.
things that can be done, but from what I've heard in the past, I don't think that that's something that can easily be accomplished, because it takes a lot of, I mean, it changes everything when you change the cycles like that.
Just figure we could grant greater access to north-southbound traffic in the mornings and the evenings, and
Yeah.
then during the off hours, just give the east-west back their priority.
Even if it was just a consistent,
Yeah.
then that would even be better. I mean, to be honest, it's not so bad now that people have understood that the left lane is a turn lane, except when you're going north. But it has improved tremendously from what it was.
Yeah.
And I will give you big kudos for that, because that was,
Good.
I sat through 2 lights. I'm like, this is weird. But it's an adjustment for everybody. Counselor Murray?
Well, it's a couple of things. Thank you for getting the no left turn signs up. That has helped, although originally they put one up above and people don't look. Then they put one below, so they've got them where they're more visible. The timing, I see sometimes that going east and west, there'll be a left turn signal light up and there's no one in the lane. So I don't know if that's back to timing or if that's a sensor situation, and that's something.
A lot of times it's a normal cycle that the signal goes through, is to have a signal that comes on saying you can turn left, but it doesn't even know that there's nobody there.
Yeah. And the other thing, just as maybe a suggestion, although the dedicated right turn lane southbound to westbound is blocked off, there's still a metal sign that says right lane is for right turn only. Some people may construe that as the lane that's supposed to go through. Oh, this is the right lane, and people get in the left, that turning lane, and then we're cutting off. Does that make sense?
That's where
Yeah,
they,
we'll
that's
take
where
a
they
look at
try to
that.
go like
So if
that.
that could be covered or something, I'm just,
Yeah.
maybe for a time being?
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Carr, I know the city hired the observation team to oversee the construction. Are they involved in any of the logistics or traffic patterns as well?
they've been involved in everything that we've. been
And they've
doing
heard
on the
complaints from
project.
citizens as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Thank you.
Any committee reports?
Mayor,
Okay.
sorry.
Mr. Murray, or Council Murray?
One, and I will give to the chief, and I'll get the other one out to the fire chief, but there's a dementia-friendly first responder training that's going to be made available on February 20th at Tulsa Tech on South Memorial, and it's free enrollment, but it's first responders, including police, fire, EMS, and other healthcare professionals. So something I will pass on to our two chiefs so that they can maybe provide officers or firefighters to attend that. The other thing is kind of off the committee report, but more or less in Council Brown has been on. I attended a meeting last night of the Jenks American Museum, and they are having an event across the street at the library on the 15th at 10:30 in the morning, and it's free. It's going to talk about the history of the city of Jenks, a Q&A session, and some light refreshments for those that are up that early. But Eric Fox, a vice principal, former Oklahoma history teacher at Jenks Public Schools, will be presenting that. So just wanted to put that out information-wise, and I know it's posted on some stuff that we have, but just FYI.
Thank you, Council Murray. Anybody else? Okay. Mayor's report?
Oh, man.
Okay. And we are adjourned. It is 6:34. Anybody need a break? I know. I didn't lose it. I'm just gathering my thoughts. All right. Okay, call to order. It's the Jenks Public Works Authority. It's February 4th to 2025, 225, Jiminy. Okay, it's 6:35 PM. Roll call, Mr. Macy?
Brown,
Here?
Short, Emmons,
Here.
Ogier,
Here.
Abel. Here. Murray,
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Okay, item number 1, consideration and appropriate action relating to a request for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel.
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Ogier.
Yes. We'll pull item 2. Item 3, purchase of hydro excavator from Ditch Witch of Tulsa for the amount of $82,850. Funding to income from account number 50-531-5392, water maintenance, building and improvement. Mr. Parsons, good to see you again.
I'm always asking for money, aren't I?
Every time,
But it's all for a good cause.
it is.
As you know, December 17th, Mr. Clark had given a briefing to the council and the mayor regarding our lead and copper residential inspections due to DEQ and EPA mandates. And we've got a minimum amount of time to get this accomplished. And right now, we're averaging about 9 to 12 per day. With the hydro excavator, we'll probably get 20 a day on the average. The hydro excavator is a very good machine. The other part of the hydro excavator is very unintrusive to gas lines, electrical lines, cables, because right now we're digging everything, so we risk every day of hitting the gas line and cable. And we've done it by accident. Accidents are gonna happen where we've got over 1,800 residential meters and residential service lines that we have to inspect. And so as of today, we've probably got about 55 residential inspections accomplished. I think that's a pretty good feat starting in January. So we could probably double, even triple that depending on the weather. So what I'm requesting is, I know budget year, after July 1st, we had it budgeted for a hydro excavator. I'm asking to bring it forth to help us out on this project because that's 5 months that we have to wait for a hydro excavator. In the meantime, if we did rent the hydro excavator, we're looking at about $24,000 between now and July 1st. By purchasing it now, we would save about $24,000 right off the top for the city. And let me add, I got kind of lucky on this one. I had a visit from OMAG. They came down and we walked the risk management from OMAG, walked around the compound. They said they haven't seen a compound that looked that good in a long time. Well, the young gentleman actually said, get on the computer, I'm gonna walk you through something. He walked me through the grant program for OMAG, and I applied for a $10,000 grant, and it was approved. And so now we've got a $10,000 grant that can go towards the hydro excavator as well. I request that we purchase this through Ditch Witch as soon as possible.
Was the OMAG visit surprise or scheduled?
It was a surprise.
So what was the actual,
Do
do they have a rating?
Actually, it was a meet and greet.
Okay.
You know, it's Hunter, I forget his last name, his first name is Hunter, really nice young man. But he, pardon?
No, I was just trying
Okay.
to think. I think I know him. Go
But
ahead.
he paid, I think he paid a visit at City Hall as well. And, he made it down to Public Works and introduced himself. And I said, this is great, you know. And, we walked around the compound, talked quite a bit about Public Works and some of the grant programs they offer. And it's just kind of my way. I'm glad he did it because, you know, I should be involved in that anyway. Somewhat, I should know a little bit more about it. And, it worked out very well.
$10,000.
So far.
You should invite them more often. This is the same group that came last year and told us our house was in extremely good fiscal order and that Jenks is probably the model of all the cities in Oklahoma for auditing, for accounting, for expenses, and for finances. So it's good to know that when they're not staring at our books, they're looking at your dirt yard.
Yeah, and it was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
And once I walked him around and showed him our equipment, everything is, I don't know, pretty well organized until he gets down there, but it is very well organized. And the staff has worked extremely hard on making it that way, and they're keeping it that way too. They're very proud of their equipment, very proud of their compound down there.
What does this thing look like? Is this a normal excavator or is it something?
No, we call it a hydro excavator, but basically what it is, it's a 500-gallon spoils tank. You've
Yeah.
seen them all over the city. You probably didn't know it was a hydro excavator.
Okay.
It's got a spoils tank and a water tank on it, high-pressure jet water,
Okay.
and then you've got a 4-inch vacuum hose. So you're basically loosening up the soil and vacuuming it up and exposing all your piping and stuff.
So the ones that we've seen, whose are those?
Ditch Witch.
Okay.
So we're actually buying this from somebody we've rented from before.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice.
You were getting ready to say something? When I start talking about our extremely good audit results from OMAG.
Oh, I didn't think Barry was
Oh.
there, because he was kind of looking at me like he didn't know.
Oh, I thought you had a proud moment. You wanted to remind everybody.
You did.
Okay.
You did a good job.
For somebody who's sick, you talk a lot.
Every time OMAG comes here, we get an A, so I'm thinking we should invite him back.
I agree with that. If it saves us $10,000 every single trip, I'm all for it. Council Brown, do you have a comment?
Nope, I'm good.
Your light's on. Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, I
No,
apologize.
that's okay. In the packet, it's got like, I guess, 3 different quotes, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So one of them's 136,000, one's 93,000, and then Ditch Witch was 82 something.
Right.
And then the $10,000 grant will come off of that?
Yes,
So then we would be basically about 72,000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But they're all basically the same equipment, maybe, a
Different
little bit of different
manufacturer.
things, sure. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And you're happy with it?
Very happy with it.
Okay.
We've actually rented one before, and the staff really like it, and we're gonna get the exact same unit that we rented, but it's brand new.
Nice. Okay. Any other comments from any other council member?
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the hydro excavator from Ditch Witch.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Let's vote.
Brown,
Yes?
Emmons,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Box,
Yes.
OJ.
Yes. Okay, general manager's report. Mr. Strout, do you have a report?
Chair and trustees, you have reports in the packet. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
All right. This time, we are adjourned, and it is 6:42.